Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be showing you some of the techniques that I use to take notes for the ACT. As you can see, I have a pretty thick book for studying the ACT, and it has a lot of information in it. I just wanted to take notes on it in this book because this notebook is a lot smaller than the other book to take. So at the top you can see that I have a lot of sticky notes. I've marked where reading begins, math, and then with math we have geometry, and then it goes into important stuff. So all of the important stuff is marked with green. Subsections are marked with orange, and the actual sections are marked with pink. So I just have a 5-subject notebook, and I'm in the first section. I actually haven't used this whole section, but I used most of it. So I'll just show you a couple of things that I've done. And to do that, I'm going to turn to the same page in my ACT book. So, give me Okay, so over here, as you can see, there's the verbs, there's some little bullet points, and then there's a table down here. And then it goes on to nouns, pronouns, and other stuff like that. So how I set up my notebook, and let me get my notebook. As you can see at the top, and let me turn it this way. At the top, I put getting a grip on grammar, which is this section right here. So I'm on chapter 4, and I put getting a grip on grammar. And the first subsection is verbs, and then it has these 3 little points about action verbs, to be links, and linking verbs. So over here I put the important thing about verbs, which is a sentence must have a verb to be complete. And then I put action verbs, the verb to be, and linking verbs. So, and then I highlighted. And then right here, there's a table on present, past, future, present perfect, and past perfect. So I just wrote that table into my notebook with the examples. On the next page, we have the next section, which is pronouns. And I'm not going to go through this whole notebook. I'm just going to show you a couple of pages from each of the major sections. So now I have pronouns. So I'm going to put the definition of what a pronoun does. And then I'm going to put the types of pronouns. So we have subject, objective, possessive, and reflexive. And I highlighted all those with the definition. And I indented that in 2 from the most important. So, and then from the personal pronouns, we skip to indefinite pronouns. So that is lined up with the personal pronouns instead of these. And then you keep going down. I highlighted example in blue just to know where my examples are. And here's the last page I'm going to show you in reading. These are conjunctions and prepositions. So they link, so that was important to know. So I highlighted in green. And then the different types of conjunctions. And then down here are prepositions. So now I'm going to show you the math section, and let me just turn to it in my ACT book. Okay, so I even have a little arrow in my book pointing to the 3 things that I wrote down on the first page. So this is types of numbers. So at the top I put types of numbers. I put a little tab saying that it was math. And I put the date, which is the 29th of December. And I listed integers, rational numbers, and irrational numbers. Now, usually I highlight all of those in yellow. But down here I have an example of each. So an integer is all positive and negative whole numbers plus 0. They're not fractions or decimals. So I put -2, -1, 0, and 1. So those are yellow. So up here, the yellow coordinates with down here. And let me make that focus. So the rational numbers are green, and those are all positive and negative integers plus fractions. So I put 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, and 1.5. And then the only irrational number that I have on here is square root 4. So I highlighted that. So I made an example with all of these. I made prime and composite numbers, the meaning of what is 30% of 60. For each thing, I put, for each topic, like the meaning of, let me go back a page. The meaning of what is 30% of 60 is completely different than exponents. So that would go on the next page. Just like exponents is completely different than units of measurements. So I put that on the next page. Now I have the geometry. And actually there's a specific thing that I want to show you. So give me 1 second. Okay, so we're in the geometry section of my notebook. So up here, angles in the same position around 2 parallel lines and a transversal are called corresponding angles and have equal measures. So I put example, and then I put the parallel lines and the transversal, and then I put 1 equals 3 equals 5 equals 7. So 1, 3, 5, 7. 2 equals 4 equals 6 equals 8. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So I put examples of this, and I made an example for myself so I could see that it means what it means. On the next side, I have triangles. Now, in my book, it said that triangles are important. So, let me show you. Okay, so it says right here, many of the geometry problems on the ACT require you to know a lot about triangles. So that means to me that it's very important. So I put a sticker up here that marked important, and then I started my triangles. So I have all of the definitions. I have what the longest side is called, the sum of the lengths, and then down here, the measure of an exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the 2 remote interior angles. So I put an example, and I put, sorry, that's my dog. And I put A equals Y plus X, because Y plus X equals A, set up here. Another thing, they said that circles were important, so I put like midpoint or center. So I put the example of a midpoint or center. Diameter, chord, just different things that are important, and the trigonometry part. Another thing I would recommend is, this didn't say it was important. Although trigonometry isn't important on the ACT, I don't know this stuff, so I marked it important because I need to learn it. So that's just a couple ways that I stay organized for the ACT. And coming up soon, probably if I can't get it up today, then I'll get it up as soon as I can. But I will have more in-depth lessons, I guess, about different things that you need to know on the ACT, only because I've taken it once before. I'm just taking it again because it's going to help with one of the tests at school. And I'm not going to say the test because it'll tell you where I'm from. But it's a big part of the my graduation. So I'm going to do the more difficult things, like the math part that I did really well on last time. And then, because the reading I have to retake. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and stay tuned for my math lessons.